Pike's pushed more and far enough ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's touched on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Does he have it? Medeiros is going to get it.
They're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's touched on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry!
Hello race fans, welcome to the Nashville Superspeedway for the Chop Shop Nashville SS200. It's Gen 4 racing action and it's season number 1 and we're on the JP Broadcasting Network. My name's Alex Goldschmidt and let me bring along into the virtual commentary box a man who I've wanted to cast with for a very long time. He's also working the cameras tonight. Good evening, Dean Biggles. How are you, buddy? Good to have you along for the ride.
I'm great to be here in Tennessee, my friend. This is the home of essentially country music and entertainment, and of course some fantastic motor racing we're going to have at the Super Speedway here this evening for the 200, the Nashville SS200. Lone qualifying will be underway in a minute, mate, and exactly, it's been a pleasure and a long time coming for us to cast together.
Indeed, the Gen 4 class of NASCAR was used between 92 and 2007 in the NASCAR Cup Series, in the Busch Nationwide Series until 2010, and in ARCAs as well until 2017. It was the generation that was described as that had removed all stock aspects from stock car racing and was as aerodynamically sensitive as a Le Mans prototype. And they're highly modified cars. They've got pushrod 90-degree V8s with nearly 6 litres of displacement. But let's talk about the circuit itself. It's been around for just over 2 decades. It is a tri-oval, which means it looks like a character D in the alphabet. But it's got a lot of banking. Capacity of this circuit is 38,000. It's currently owned by Speedway Motorsports, but the SS200, well, the 200 is relating to the amount of miles that we're going to be covering. This circuit is 1 1/3 miles, so we're going to have 150 laps of this circuit. As Dean rightly pointed out, time qualifying for this race. It's the 8th event of the season. Qualifying is underway. We're about 90 seconds through the 5 minutes. Andrew Phipps is currently leading the way in terms of the qualifying. He won the Darlington 200 back on August 6th. But let's have a brief look very shortly through the championship standings. coming into this 8th round of this season. Nathan Biggett has already got 2 wins. Took the season opener at the Auto Club 225 on July 2nd, and then followed that up with Rockingham on July 16th. Cam Derriot is also a race winner, won the Atlanta 200 Legacy event and is currently on 265. And as you can see, the top 6 have already secured playoff points, along with Jeremiah Burke, who rounds out the top 9. So Biggett leads the way on 361, Derriot on 265. Michael Coulter Jr., another one of the 6 different race winners so far this season, is on 198. Andrew Phipps, who took the win at Darlington, is 4th, ahead of Anthony Crownover, who took the win last time out at the Michigan International Speedway just 1 week ago. And Andrew Payne, another winner at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway NASCAR Oval for the Indy 200 back on July 30th. Caleb Modzelski on 274, tied with Michael Strickland on 274 apiece. Jeremiah Burke, 266. Michael Caffrey, 239, with John Hammond on 238, and Jason Day rounding out the top 12 on 233. But let's turn our attention back to qualifying. Andrew Phipps at the moment, 30.352 on the board for the number 25. Ryan Dunkelberger in the 26 is just 8/100ths adrift, with Nathan Biggett on a 30.485, so just shy of 30.5 seconds. And it's very, very tight between the top 13. Isaac Balsamo in the number 10 rounds out the top 13, Dean, covered by just under 9.5 of a second. This is going to be very, very fast and furious over the 150 laps here of the Chop Shop Nashville Superspeedway 200, which is going to really test everyone around this trial.
Most of the drivers have done their qualifying laps per se. We're on board right now the 77 machine, the Aussie, the Thunder from Down Under of Michael Caffey. And he's from Perth, Australia, and he's about to put in his best times. He'll jump himself up to about P11 currently in the moment. I think he is the last man. This is one more lap in him. Saving the best for last, perhaps, mate. Look at how close you're going to get right up hugging that wall like your favourite grandma. Tug it down into the inside apron. Let the car slide out with the momentum, and that's a little bit too much of a power slide. Having a little bit of fun, I think, at the moment, drifting, because he's done with his laps, and we're done with that qualifying.
Yep, indeed. The timer is just under 30 seconds shy of hitting the checkered. So 16 out of the 20 drivers that hit the server a little bit earlier on have done their qualifying laps. Michael Caffrey actually posts the 10th equal quickest time of a 30.914, but Andrew Phipps really has showcased his opportunity to put another W on the board. It could be the second within 3 races. This is a 22 round calendar where we're going to get all the way down to Phoenix on October 15th, as there is your grid for the Nashville SS 200 presented by JP Broadcasting here tonight. And it's going to be Andrew Phipps starting on the pole. The number 25 from California. He's got his fellow Californian local man Ryan Dunkelberger alongside Nathan Biggett, and the Canadian wonder that is Jason Day will line up on row 2. Cam Derriot and Michael Strickland Striker will be on row 3. Anthony Crownover and Caleb Modzelski will be on row 4. Completing the top 10, it's Brandon Blaisdell and Nathan Boger with Michael Caffrey, the wonder from Down Under. He'll start on the inside of row 6 alongside the number 33 of Ed Parry. Donnell Williams in the 15 will be joined by Isaac Balsamo on row 7 in the number 10. Jonathan Parsons and Jerry Culver, numbers 4 and 80, will start on row 8, completing the 20-strong grid. The 3 of Michael Coulter Jr., Mark Rutgen in the number 76, Chris Roberge in the 98, and Devin DeCuna in the number 43. That is your 20-strong grid. And we will, in customary NASCAR fashion, have the good old-fashioned 2x2 rolling start as the pace car is about to lead the field onto this 1 1/3 mile circuit for 150 laps. You know what, Dean? I can't wait for the lights to go green, and we are underway here at Nashville.
Yeah, exactly. And we're hoping for a lot of greens, no doubt. I mean, there's going to be cautions. It's good for this amount of drivers all packed up, ready to Bring it to the, as I said, get some country music going here, my friend. Some rock and roll happening in one of the music capitals of the United States of America, and see how they're going to pan out, making their way around this track over and over again as quickly as possible. Remember, side drafting, bump drafting, you got to be working together. And you don't want to be stuck alone on a track like this, my friend, Super Speedway, because all of a sudden you're not going to have the slipstream to use with your teammates or with somebody else. But as you know, with Super Speedway racing and any form of most forms of motorsports, you've got to be sticking together as packs. So we'll see how that pans out.
Indeed, the Nashville Superspeedway actually located in Gladeville, Tennessee, even though the track actually has a Lebanon postal address. It's just 20 miles southeast of Nashville. As the pace car pulls into pit road, we are ready, steady to get the Nashville SS 200 underway here for Gen 4 Season 1, and it's green, green, green. It looks like Phipps has already got the jump on Dunkelberger as they go through turn number 1 already. There is a little bit of drafting going on. Dunkelberger looks to be going high, wide and handsome towards the outside of Phipps, but at the moment Phipps is keeping his lead. A couple of cars have had a few moments there, one dropping to the infield on the track, so already Phipps and Dunkelberger really are at loggerheads at the minute.
We don't have any caution at the moment just yet, but obviously there are a lot of switcheroo positions that are happening at the moment. There's just a couple of those drivers going off track, but so far so good. As you can see, already getting a couple of laps under the belt. And here currently is the challenge. We're up front at the moment, really taking different racing lines right now. Feeling comfortable, I guess, with the heat in the tyres.
Yeah, track temperature just over 50 degrees Celsius. So one of the benefits of the actual league here at the moment, you have, I think Dunkelberger got a little bit wide there. The tail end was a little bit loose, as they would say in NASCAR. If it's tight, it means it's cornering on rails. It means if it's loose, the back end's going to step out from left to right. The drivers do have 4 sets of tyres, and that's going to be quite crucial. That includes the set that these drivers actually have on them. We do have a nice little battle here. This is between Bogan and Parsons. Bogan from Vaughansville, Ohio, gets past the number 4 with the golden arches emblazoned on the front hood of that car. And just behind them, that's Rutgen, just behind him, the number 76. We go back to Nathan Biggett, the 01. And he's currently running out the top 4 at the moment, about 1.2 seconds behind Cam Derrier at the minute. But hopefully, if he can start working together with Day, Crownover, Strickland, well, mainly Day and Crownover here, Dean, that's going to be crucial. If they can start working together, one might have a little bit of, as you said, slipstream. Bogut going wheel to wheel with the likes of Balsamo, who's high, wide and handsome around the outside. The number 10 looks a little bit loose, going a little bit higher up the track. They're very much skirting the wall on the outside. But we are now into lap number 5 out of 50. Strickland Striker battling away with, I think that is the 47 Bledsoe. That is the battle for 7th position, which the number 47 now takes back, getting the side draft by using the high side of the circuit. And it's been rather clean so far here, Dean, hasn't it?
It's been very, very clean. It's great to see, especially how much the rear end's sliding around in these cars as they're going to be burning through those tyres, no doubt. And they've got this real optimal traction, as you mentioned there. Feeling very confident, stretching the car and exploring places of the track that you might not be able to explore a little bit later as you get further into this race. But so far, so good. 600.
Yep, at the moment, fastest lap of the race. Andrew Phipps in 2nd position, nearly 6 tenths behind Dunkelberger, as we've got a side-by-side Coulter Jr. in the number 3. It's battling away with the number 15 of Williams. And you can just see how close it can be at times around this circuit. And Coulter Jr. from Bardstown. Iron Mike, as you can see in the bottom left-hand corners of your screen, he's just got past Isaac Balsamo in the number 10 car, and the driver from Franklin, PA, looks up the inside. That's a very neat move there. So a nice exchange there for 11th and 12th position, but they've got to watch out for Nathan Bogart, who's not that far behind them. So we could see a few more changes up and down the order. They're swapping more times than I probably had hot Sunday roast dinners on, and considering the fact over here in the UK where I'm currently casting from, it is Monday morning.
Yeah, you've had your Sunday
morning.
dinner, mate, and don't you go teasing me about the Sunday roast. I really
No,
miss
I
those.
haven't had one. I haven't had one today.
Oh,
I haven't had one today. Honestly, I'd never have chance. I've been told it's not happening. But Jason Day in the number 52, the Canadian from Victoria, British Columbia, still battling away with Crownover in the number 28, running the Halverline livery. And this is the battle for 5th position on the road. Balsamo's between a bit of a rock and a hard place. He's stuck between Bogart, and Coulter's looking up the inside, gets the run on the 57, looking back up the inside for 11th position. As we are now heading on to lap 10 of 150, so 140 laps to go here at Nashville Superspeedway. Some great battles happening so far here, Dean.
You see, Barney's not waving any other flag, but just keep it going green. And there's Michael Colbert Jr. on the outside. Iron Mike. Swinging it back up on the inside. There he is at the moment. And just on the outside is Isaac, who's under a little bit of pressure there from Mike. But once again, these are early days. Just testing each other out, working together. Essentially, every single race driver working together as a team, which do need to do that. Super Speedway, as we mentioned. It's only when it comes down to crunch time, my friend, we get down to about 10 laps to go that it becomes multiple enemies.
Yeah, it's always the way. It's just a case of just moving just moving forward. Because not only are you looking at tyre strategy, you're looking at fuel strategy as well. Because consumption is king at a circuit like here at Nashville Superspeedway. You've really got to sort of try and have the additional mile or two that could give you the undercut or the El Grande overcut, so to speak, when it comes to the pit stops. Because as soon as you change those tyres, if you can put a lick of fuel in the lick of gas in the tank, you can be underway pretty sharpish and get the jump on the opposition. But we could see towards the end of this 150 lap encounter maybe some splash and dash moments into the pit lane at some points.
It's all going to be also based around your pace car as it comes out. When it comes out, a lot of drivers at the moment will be sitting there waiting for that situation. It's going to be hopefully going green all way to see who's going to be able to jump in first. This is currently at the moment our race leader already looking to get the lap car done of Michael Caffrey. It's the Thunder is being lapped 9 positions down. Happy to allow the leader to go through there as that power slide into the corner, and just behind him in P2 is Andrew Phillips, just lurking in the background.
Yeah, Phillips hoping to just try and close quite significantly on Dunkelberger. The gap has now come down to just 0.3 of a second. This is going to be where things are crucial. Andrew Phipps needs to start making a little bit of headway, trying to close in on Dunkelberger, who was swapping with Phipps on the initial exchange on the opening 2 or 3 laps of this 150 lap encounter. So what Phipps does now is that's not what you want when you've got a super cheap auto livery.
He taps the wall too in background.
Caffrey's not had a good one there. Oh dearie me.
I wonder if he got any damage from the race start after dropping those positions or something like that. I'm quite sure. Either way, he's not that happy with the car. Although he was keeping pace, wasn't he, with the race leader for some time there, and eventually they're starting to make their way through. Here's another battle further back, the number 10 car and the 76 car of Michael for the Chop Shop Racing team. That's right, in the Chop Shop Racing League that we're broadcasting for the very first time on the JP Broadcasting Network. So welcome along everybody in the chat too. We'll get a chance to read that when we take our eyes off the screen for 2 seconds.
Yeah, Joseph G says, thank you guys for covering on such short notice. Let's go racing. My 3 sons shouts out, good luck, Jerry Culver. With Jerry is currently at the moment in 18th place, but is only about a 10th behind Jonathan Parsons in the number 4. That is the battle for 17th position. As all now, someone has just gone off circuit.
It's
That's
Devon.
Devon DeCuna, not been a good one from him. He started at the tail end, Charlie, of the field. We've had now. That was the 76 that just went, and we've just that's our first caution. Isaac Balsamo. That is the Franklin PA driver in the number 10. Brings out the first caution. So
you can see here at the rear, isn't it? Just goes loosey goosey. He's just tagged.
Oh, he got a wallop from behind. That is not exactly what Isaac would have wanted. There's Ryan Dunkelberger in the number 26. And
if anybody's got to jump in a pit road, mate. Is it too early? It's got to be too early.
I would think so, unless they've... Now, one of the other things that they can't do on this, folks, is effect on iRacing, what we affectionately call a fast repair. Whatever damage you've got to have done has to be repaired at however long that's going to take. So if it's 20 seconds, if it's 30 seconds, that is how long you're going to be in pit road for. So this now has... We expected a caution. I don't think we were expecting something, I think, probably a little bit sooner, weren't we? Like maybe, say, the first 5-10 laps. But we got to laps 16, 17 before the first caution came out. And there are drivers coming into pit road. Parry, Coulter Jr., Culver, Roberge, D'Acuna, Balsamo in the pit. So there is our first amount of traffic coming down pit road. So I think drivers might have decided to short fuel ahead of the race because they can opt to do that. And maybe now to get a full tank of gas on board, you know, just brim it, get the car out there, fresh set of boots. And if the first set have already been scrubbed, especially if your name is Isaac Balsamo with what happened, because the tail end went completely squirrely on him, it went completely loose and he got tagged from behind. That just goes to show there, Dean, that you never can tell who's going to get the jump on everybody else. But Dunkelberger hasn't pitted. Phipps, Derio, Biggett, Crownover, Day, Bledsoe, Williams, Strickland, Stryker, Bogart, Modzaleski, Rutgen. We're going to have a look at the replay again here of Balsamo. So he just turns it in, and the car is just not wanting to rotate, but the back end decides to rotate and wallop straight back in. Who was that impacted him there? That was the number 8, wasn't it?
It looks like the number 8, exactly. You're right on that one. The number 8, we'll go back to the live pictures. Currently, and I do apologise because we've just turned up recently to start broadcasting this. The number 8 machine, it's the 8. Can't see the 8.
Well, there is an 80.
There's an 80. Is it Jerry?
And an
yeah,
88.
there is. It's Jerry.
Oh, it's Jerry Culver. Oh, well, we have to give Jerry kudos because he was completely unsighted on that.
Yeah, let's
I don't think he... Yeah, we're gonna have a look from this perspective. So we'll queue up the replay now. Yeah. So, I mean, he's going in at a very high liquor speed. So this is where Isaac Balsamo loses the back end. Now he will see it happening, but
not at that speed.
Jerry might have had. Yeah, Jerry, I think might have had a little bit of a deraise with the wall on the right hand side. So maybe the car on his car might have been a little bit loose as well for the Tacoma Washington native. So we are now on to lap 20 out of 150 at the 8th round. So just to give you all a bit of a recap of who has won the opening 7 races so far. So at the Auto Club 225, Nathan Biggett took his first 2 victories so far this season on July 2nd. July 9th, we went to Daytona International Speedway for the Daytona 200. Michael Coulter Jr. not only picked up pole, but took the win. Nathan Biggett took the win at the Rockingham 200. Now, bearing in mind, Biggett hasn't taken a pole position at all this season so far. Cam Derio took the pole at the opening race at the Auto Club 225. Michael Caffrey did that at Rockingham 200. Atlanta, Cam Derio did the double, pole position of the win. Same for Andrew Payne at Indy 200 on July 30th. Ryan Dunkelberger took his first pole position of the season at the Darlington 200 on August 6th, and Andrew Phipps took the W then. And then Phipps took pole position last time out of Michigan at the International Speedway for the 200 on August 13th, and Anthony Crownover took the W on that one. So things are gearing up, I would imagine, Ryan, that we could be getting back underway momentarily because the iRacing pace car is just ahead of the field.
And they'll get ready to go green, green, green when Barney elects to wave that flag. Come along into the chat. Now it's time to get this temperature back up into those tyres. As you see, some of those drivers have made a pit stop. Everybody from 14 down has made a pit stop, and we should get ready to go in a minute as they do that following side by side. There's the pace car in. Over to you, Alex.
Right then, folks, back to get things underway for round 8 of the Chop Chop. Nashville Superspeedway 200. We're back underway under green flag racing, and Dunkelberger hits the hammer down hard and pulls away to about a 0.3 of a second advantage. Cam Derio up the inside of Phipps, going through into the far part of the circuit. Now this is where the speed's really going to build. They've got synchronicity there. Well, it's sort of like a slalom effect there between Phipps, Biggett and Crownover as they battle over P3. But a couple of the drivers deciding to go high and wide at the top part of the circuit as they now will make their way to the top part, the crest of the tri-oval here at Nashville. But Dunkelberger's hot. I mean, even after half a lap, Dunkelberger has absolutely mashed the throttle on it. And over Cam Derio, he's got a lead of just over half a second. Biggett rounds out the top 3. Phipps, Crownover, that's your top. Well, as I say that, Phipps and Biggett swap positions. They are side by side. Careful, fellas. You don't want to have a little bit of a touch. Phipps to the outside, Biggett to the inside. Biggett now retakes 3rd position as we ride on board with the Hampton VA driver of Anthony Crownover, the number 28 Hauveline Chevy, as they go through into the next corner. Well, Biggett loses a little bit of ground.
Go through the middle, mate. Don't go through. Yeah, that's 3 abreast.
I was just about to say, do not try and thread the eye of the needle between 2 other battling NASCARs, because the first thing you're going to do is find yourself in harm's way between a rock and a hard place. But Dunkelberger's now expanded the gap to Derio to just over 6.5 tenths as we now complete lap 24 out of 150. And still this battle. Now this is really bringing in. Now look who's behind these guys. There is the number 52. That is Jason Day, the Canadian from Victoria, British Columbia. Really closing in. Whilst they're battling away, this has allowed Day to really close up in on them.
Right on board actually with Mr. Jason Day. And have a look at his perspective as he's just slowly following him in there, keeping with the pace, of course, of this position. Happy to be here. Caution. Don't get too close. Sometimes you got to remember how close it is. Of course, they're just lifting the throttle a little bit. I'll show that information up for you to kind of get an idea. In fact, actually, if anything, my friend, I think we should really just give everybody a sense of sensation of driving in the cockpit view. And yes, am I not mistaken? Am I upside down being in Australia? But that rev limiter is rotated at a different angle.
That is customary.
Oh, it is?
The
Okay.
Gen 4 cars. Yeah, they always do that. So you've got oil temp, water temp, you've got quite a few bits and pieces. So there'll be like battery voltage, the rev counter, very, very important. Looks like there's a speedometer on the left-hand side of the rev counter, the tachometer or rev counter, whichever you want to call it, showing 300. That could be a temperature gauge of some description. But again, riding aboard with Jason Day, you can just see how close it is between Biggett and Phipps. Crownover not too far behind, and Jason Day very much has got the ringside seat. Just in front of them, though, Cam Derio is on a bit of a charge. He's closed the gap to Ryan Dunkelberger for the race lead, and that has come down to just over 0.4 of a second. Nathan Biggett staying ahead of Phipps. There is Dunkelberger, the race leader in the number 26. Derio is trying to close him down. Phipps there in 4th place. Crownover, Day, Strickland, Stryker, Williams, Bledsoe and Bogert round out the top 10. Well, Nathan Bogert gets past Brandon Bledsoe in the number 47 for 9th place. Still quite a lot of back racing as we come to expect here in the Gen 4 era. Very much the case that everyone is showcasing their skills around this 1 1/3 mile tri-oval. There is the battle with the likes of Modzelewski rounding out the top 11. He's looking as we're riding on board with the number 53, who's not too far behind the number 47, Brandon Bledsoe. Isaac Balsamo is making a bit of a comeback trail at the minute. He's just got past Jonathan Parsons for 13th position, but coming towards 30 laps. Well, we're on to lap 30 out of 150. Only one caution so far at lap number 16, but some great racing between the likes of Biggett and Phipps, as you can see on your screens there. Here's the on-board from the left rear fender of Nathan Biggett, the 01. Just trying to keep Andrew Phipps at bay. Lap times at the moment, they're controlling the pace somewhat here, Dean. They're running anywhere between a 31.4 and a 31.6 at the minute.
Yeah, keeping an average pace, pacing themselves out for a long endurance race at this point. Of course, 150 laps and not even a third of the way through at this point. It's all about, it's a little bit of concentration, taking it easy, calm your nerves, just getting the rhythm with the car. I've always said this before, Alex, and it's the first time we casted together, but you know, your car, mate, it's like take it out to dinner, buy it a nice dinner, buy it flowers, you know. Tell it I love you every once in a while, just like a wife or a girlfriend, and hopefully she'll treat you back just as nicely. Just don't let her visit the fence very often, mate.
As we would like to say, a bit of TLC, a bit of tender loving care. Mechanical sympathy, very, very crucial in oval racing, even though these cars are revving to north of 8,000 RPM and pushing quite a lot of speed. There you see the real concertina effect happening, as always with NASCAR, and particularly with Gen 4 back in its day up until 2007 as the main part of the roster in NASCAR. But pack racing has always been a staple of this kind of racing as well. And people might say, well, NASCAR is all about turning left all day. No, it is not. There is a lot of nuances, and even to someone like myself, okay, you might say, yeah, well, he's a Brit. What does he know about NASCAR? Believe you me, I've watched so many different classes of motorsport. I always have an understanding of technicalities, and when it's not just about making sure that the car is cornering as it should do. The setup's got to be right. The tyre pressure's got to be right. And there is Ed Parry in the 33. The I think has just been passed by
Jonathan.
So Jonathan Parsons has got through on Ed Parry. Devin D'Acuna is making a bit of a comeback in his own right. He's P15 in the number 43. But yeah, I mean, the thing is like the way the steering wheel's set up, it's a little bit left-hand down. So where you normally see the traditional stripe at the top of a racing racing steering wheel, you can see there that it's completely different. The steering is angled completely different to deal with the camber, especially when the left side tyres are going to get an absolute pummeling at this tryo.
You can see at the moment, exactly, it's not centered, right? You're spending a lot of it right on that degree angle. And there's a car off in the front, and that's Ryan.
That's the race leader! That's the race leader, that's Dunkelberger! What on earth happened there on lap 35? Ryan Dunkelberger. Now, has he got some rear end damage on the back of that car? I think he might have. I did see the right rear looks a little bit bent inward. Yeah, it looks to be a little bit higher than it should be, but Ryan Dunkelberger has had the biggest code brown whilst leading the race.
This is Isaac. I wonder if this has got something to do with it. No, this is Isaac going off. He shouldn't be able to come back on track, so that shouldn't be a problem. I was just looking at that. Happened just before. Now let's have, he's almost in the pit road. Here's what's happened to Ryan. You can see,
oh, he's got a tap.
Yep.
Oh, he got a tap from Cam Derio. Cam Derio taps him from behind whilst closing in, and that was across the stripe. So that was on the beginning of lap 36. Ryan Dunkelberger has just tumbled from the race lead to 14th position as a result of that slight contretemps.
There.
And there you see, it lifts the rear axle up, and unfortunately, Dunkelberg is spinning around more times than Kylie Minogue on a good day.
Hey, Kylie Minogue's Australian. What are you talking about? I know what you mean.
I had to use some kind of reference point there.
I thought you were going to go to Neighbours if you really want to go back to old school days of Kylie Minogue, my friend.
Yes, yeah. Her and Jason Donovan, mate. Yeah.
That's a very... Yeah, you're right. I was just going to say, everybody in here is from the United States and Canada, apart from Michael, the only one on the grid that might know that, because it was a very British and Australian thing.
Well, yeah, it was back in the day. But we get back to the racing action. There's Jason Day in the number 52. He's currently sitting now P5 as a result of that slight touch. And we both know, Dean, that when it's a rear-wheel drive vehicle with a lot of horsepower out front, you know, a 90-degree push-rod V8 with 6 litres of displacement, the minute you touch the rear end, it's going to go light and it's going to spin you around. And it doesn't matter how many times you see it, it always happens to the most innocent of victims, so to speak, doesn't it?
Oh, innocent. Not so innocent, but yes, it does happen. Just like my Chrysler back in Australia had before I upgraded to a GDR Skyline with 4-wheel steering and 4-wheel drive and traction control. So I had horsepower at my feet, mate. But yeah, that was a twin turbo launch control system. This is just pure grunt, and here it is. So they're battling it out here currently at the moment. You can see on your pictures there. So Andrew Phillips and Michael Strickland Striker.
Oh, second caution of the evening. Lap 41 out of 150. So the big question is, Dean, who's caused it this time? Because I see that Isaac Bosmo has been in the pits since lap 34.
It's retired.
Yeah,
looks
so,
like, my friend. Unfortunately,
yes.
I have nothing from race control. This is probably all I've got to indicate that there was a yellow flag. So I haven't seen anybody dropping any places, like a 1929 stock exchange. They're all out on track, same position. So maybe Barney got bored.
Well, a second caution of the evening has been called, and the iRacing pace car is back out again. So the current running order on lap 42 out of 150 is Cam Derio is leading the way. Nathan Biggett in second, then it's Anthony Crownover in third. Jason Day, the number 52, who's decided to go below the yellow line at the bottom part of the circuit. Currently running at the top four. Andrew Phipps is in fifth. Michael Strickland Striker. Oh, and now the first big real... So it's a stage break at lap 40, so hence why we are seeing a massive raft of activity, and that is all 19 out of the 20 competitors into the pit lane. So this is where we're going to see that the first set of tyre changes and refueling will take place for a lot of the drivers. And this is going to be quite... I mean, the thing is, even under caution, if you undercut somebody in the pit lane, you refuel for a couple of seconds less, you can really get the jump on your opposition, can't you?
You can. It is all about pit stop strategies, and there's a dinged up car. That's still the 80 machine dinged up. Didn't even go and get any repairs done on pit road. That is
that's Jerry Culver, who's just jumped from folks.
Yeah.
That's how things can change in a pit stop. Jerry Culver was 16th coming into pit road. He's now in front of everybody else. How's about that for a bit of a master stroke?
Yeah,
well done, Jerry.
Let's see how long. I mean, and then again, it doesn't look that much more dinged up. Maybe it's just that was the angle, but hey, way to go, my friend. And he has taken that pit stop. He took that back, but on lap 18. However, everybody else is just boxed on this lap 42, essentially. In fact, everybody. Jerry's coming in now, so he's listening to you, Alex. He said, "Nah, mate, it's time for me to come in and pit load as well too. I don't want to be the only one. I don't want to be the only one left without a chair at this musical chair party."
That's always the way with pit stops as well. So it does mean that Cam Derio ends up back in the race lead, as we are now on to lap 44 of 150 here at the Chop Shop Nashville Superspeedway 200, the 8th round of what is going to be an extensive season ahead, which goes right the way through to November 26th at the Texas 200 Legacy. That'll be the 2009 oval variation of the Texas Motor Speedway, which will be over a duration of 134 laps. Coming up on the schedule will be Pocono Raceway 200 on August 27th, the All-Star Race at the Chicagoland Speedway on September 3rd, the Kentucky 200 on September 10th, Sonoma Raceway Historic on September 17th, and then the Richmond 200 on September 24th, Las Vegas 200 on October 1st, Bristol Motor Speedway Single Pit Roads hosts the Bristol 200 night on October 8th. The Phoenix 200 will be the Phoenix Raceway Oval, folks, with the open dogleg on October 15th. And then we head to Kansas on October 22nd, October 29th, Talladega, Charlotte 200 on November 5th, Iowa 200 November 12th, Miami, and that'll be at the Homestead Miami Speedway on November 19th. And then, as I said, Texas 200 Legacy will close out the Chop Shop Gen 4 season number 1. It has been a really interesting race so far. And the strategy that we've seen from multiple different... My Three Sons said, looks like Jerry Culver might have missed his pit stall. You could be right there. Sometimes that can happen. Sometimes that can happen. But you know
he's
what?
Fixed his car. Look at that. It's brand new. Kind of.
Yep. But with the caution, let's take you through the running order. So it is going to be Cam Derio that leads the way. Anthony Crownover now is up into second position ahead of Nathan Biggett. Andrew Phipps rounds out the top 4 ahead of Jason Day. With Donnell Williams, Mark Rutgen, who's been the biggest mover so far tonight, 11 positions gained as the pace car pulls into the pits after the stage break as we're about to go racing here on lap number 46 of 150 for the Chop Shop Nashville Superspeedway 200, and Derio instantly gets the jump on the rest of the opposition. Biggett and Crownover side by side as they make their way through turn number 1.
Green. Yep, that's what they do the same thing that they do with the engineers.
Boogity, boogity, boys, let's go racing, as the saying goes. I was going to try and use that at the top of the show, but I completely forgot. Never mind, it is quite early in the morning where I am at the minute. But some great moves happening at the minute. Dunkelberger's back up into 6th position and is right behind, well, pretty much behind Andrew Phipps, about 0.6 of a second away. Side by side, a little bit further back. 47 plays 57. That's Bledsoe versus Bogart. And that's for 11th position.
Here you go, Jason Day is actually for the 5 Kings Motorsports. He's got Andrew Phipps for the company. That's going to be interesting to see the great battle brewing between these two gladiators around this fantastic arena here in Tennessee. Ooh, that's going a little bit out of shape, mate. Going down into the apron. Definitely going to compromise a bit of exit speed, but still regains himself. Good driving. Andrew
Phipps getting a bit of a tank slapper there as Ryan Dunkelberger hot on his case and is the fastest one out there. New fastest lap of the race, 30.467 by the number 26 driver who was leading the race until he got a little bit of a tag from behind, courtesy of Cam Derio on lap 36. There will be another stage break on lap 80 out of 150 as we ride on board with Dunkelberger now up into P5, closing in on Andrew Phipps. So that gap is getting closer and closer. It's about 2.5 tenths as Crown overtakes Biggett for 2nd position. Now the number 28 finds himself just over 6.5 tenths behind Cam Derio, who continues to lead. Now, could Cam Derio become the 2nd different driver this season on the Chop Shop NASCAR Gen 4 Season 1 to take 2 wins in this 8th out of 22 weeks of racing?
This is the one thing that I do love about oval racing at this level of competition as well, to even in the real life, is that you don't have like your Max Verstappen winning every single race essentially. You've got multiple race winners all the time because of the way that the format works, of course. We've had difficult pit stops, working together as your teams, cautions and stuff like that. So it's great entertainment. As you said, it's a different ball game than what you generally get. Somebody's going right deep into the apron, just on the inside there. So yeah, exactly. I mean, once again, if you're not, I guarantee that Max is going to win the next race in Formula 1, things like that. You don't know who's going to win this race at this point.
No, exactly. Good point by My Three Sons. It's not like the number 77 of Michael Caffrey, the one from down under, is both nicknaming him on this broadcast to run at the back. He has secured a pole position so far this season. He's currently running in 18th, and he's about 0.7 of a second behind the number 43 of Devin Nakuna, who started in 20th position. Nathan Bogart gets past Ed Parry. That is a change for 15th position. Caleb Modzelski in the number 53 running steadily in 8th position. Phipps and Biggett and Dunkelberger are now intertwined, so to speak. Dunkelberger going up the inside of Biggett. Could this be the opportunity that the number 26 needs to try and surge his way back to the front end of the field? We're now on lap 53 out of 150 And Dunkelberger gets through on Biggett, but he's about half a car length in front. Biggett's going to get the side draft coming through the exit of the corner. And he's nosing ahead of the number 26. So Biggett goes back into 4th position, but when they go into the next turn, Dunkelberger might have the run on him, but on this particular occasion, Biggett's kept his foot planted to the floor, gets a little bit close to the outside wall on the right-hand side as they cross the stripe again at the top of the tri-oval, and Dunkelberger is looking up the inside. That's through turn 1. Will he get the side draft? Oh, the back end steps out on the right-hand side, and Nathan Biggett running in the Air Force liveried 01 Chevy. And well, showing Ford on there. Well, there were multiple different manufacturers. You did have Ford, Chevy, amongst others. And it has still been a big battle to this day. Even Toyota these days with the Camry have been involved in, in the Gen 4. In selected races in 2007, Toyota were part of NASCAR. So were Pontiac until 2003, and Dodge until from 2001 until 2007.
Yeah, that's quite interesting at iRacing, allowing the Ford livery on that. It's just kind of like putting a Red Bull livery on the W12s or W13s, isn't it, in iRacing? No.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, why? And someone like going, yes, I decided to. Yes, but it's not a Honda. Or if your name's Fernando Alonso, GP2 engine. Oh, that's enough I'm saying on that one, for those that will remember back in the day. But Strickland Striker, the driver from Phoenix, Arizona, trying to close in. That's on Donnell Williams for 9th place. And a little bit further back, Nathan Bogart, again, having a little bit of a battle. That's with Michael Coulter Jr. Yep, Ed Parry has just dropped to 18th position.
Michael Coulter Jr. is such a racing driver name there, Michael. Love it.
Well, he is running in the same livery. You know what? Great to see that Michael Coulter Jr. running in the same livery, the good wrench number 3 of the Intimidator himself, Mr. Dale Earnhardt, who was for many a year a big part to the NASCAR community until his passing on February 18th, 2001, after the tragic incident at Daytona Motor Speedway earlier on that year.
You remember that specifically? Okay.
Well, I'm trying to make sure that I provide the correct factual information, so I have got sources on multiple different monitors. So this is how close.
Oh, I thought I was going to call you the walking Wikipedia of knowledge. That's fantastic.
Well, it is through Wikipedia, but I do remember which year it was. I couldn't remember what month and date. So, but it's certain things stick in your mind, you know.
Yeah, they certainly do. 2001 sticks in my mind when this track was essentially formed, per se, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Here comes Strickland Strike. And that's the 88 machine on the inside. Job done on the 53. Sort of cut you off there?
Yeah, no, that was a nice little pass up the inside of Caleb Modzelski, who's been running quite solidly in the second half of the top 10. And he's got Donnell Williams not too far behind. Chris Roberge, the Canadian driver running in the number 98, is doing a pretty solid job as well. He's running 12th at the moment. Strickland gets past Rutgen in the number 76, who was up 11 positions. Modzelski also getting the overspeed towards the outside. Modzelski very close to the wall on the right-hand side of the circuit, but still managing to get through around the outside of Rutgen, who now drops down another position. So Rutgen started 18th and is still currently holding his own in a very credible 9th position.
And Donnell Williams wants to copy that as well too and say, oh, take a couple of positions, thank you very much, on 62 of 150 as we're running down about 89 to go. And there's the Chop Chop Racing team of Marcus 76 was a good year, my friend. You should know that. Agree with that one?
Well, I'll agree with 76 and 77.
So, yeah, that's right. By the way, everybody, welcome. If you are tuning in, of course, have a big happy birthday out there to James Parfitt, who puts on this fantastic James Parfitt Broadcasting Network. It's his birthday today, so just a bit of a shout out. He's broadcasting at the same time we're speaking, so we can't. And he's probably listening too, mate. A man can do many things at once. But this man, Ryan, is trying to force his way back up there. He gets the overtake done on Jason Day.
Yeah, well, he's actually dropped a bit of time behind Nathan Biggett. He was right up with the 0-1 and has just lost a bag full of time. So whether he's made, whether there's been a little bit of a mistake, whether he's got the back end's gone a little bit loose, as we see Brandon Bledsoe battling away with the number 98 of Christopher Berge, who is now up to 10th position. Mark Rutgen, in the meantime, has dropped all the way down to 12th place and is no longer the highest mover up the order. He was at one point up until 8th position, so he started 18th, he was up to 8th, and now he's all the way back down to 12th position. He's got a couple of seconds window between himself and now Nathan Bogart has just overtaken Jonathan Parsons for 13th position. As here is Dunkelberger defending against Day in the battle for P5.
That's Caffey.
Something is caught.
Yeah, you're right on that one. Sorry, my friend. That was just Caffey getting that position done. Yeah, and they're still battling it out, these two, of course, for the P4, P5 position. Leaders are give or take about 20 odd, 30 odd seconds, pretty much safe distance, just inside the slipstream, but not too close where you start bumping and grinding the cars up the road. Social distancing, boys.
Haven't heard those two words in a very long time, probably about 18 months. But yeah, some really good battling. You can see the ticker right down at the bottom part of the screen showing the current running order. As we are on lap 67 out of 150. There's going to be another stage break with 80 laps out of 150 completed. But Cam Derio is really coming under fire now because Crownover and Phipps are closing in on the number 2, who has been leading for just over 30 laps. And Crownover and Phipps look to be working a little bit more together in synchronicity to try and get the job done. Biggett still running at the top 4. It's about a second off of the leader. And whilst Crownover and Phipps might start to give Derio some trouble, I think here that Biggett could get the opportunity to start closing in his own right.
Nathan Biggett, this is the 0-1 machine. That's it. Well, if you're going to have the 0-1 number on your car, my friend, you've got to be finishing it first. But you have the time to do it. 83 to go. Catching that packed up the front, which is getting very spicy right now in your picture. Here's Anthony in P2. Andrew Phillips, the 25 machine, in P3. Nathan's now starting to catch this. So this is the 4-way pack that they've got. A bit of a gap, you can see there. About 2 seconds to change down to Dinkelberger, who most likely at his pace will be catching them anytime soon, Alex.
Yep, top 4 covered by just under 0.6 of a second. Crownover is the first one to possibly look at an overtake opportunity in the not too distant future, but can he get that job done before we hit the next stage break at 80 laps of this 1 1/3 mile circuit here at Nashville Superspeedway? And it is getting closer still. The gap between Derio and Crownover just over 0.2. A further 0.2 back to Andrew Phipps. Then Nathan Biggett is a further 0.25 behind the number 25, who did put it on pole position in the 5-minute qualifying session. Getting a bit hot and heated under the collar here between D'Cunha and Parsons. Parsons up the inside for 16th position. Nice manoeuvre there by the McDonald's emblazoned number 4 car as he keeps that car ahead of Devin D'Cunha in the number 43. But Parsons runs a little bit wide. It seems like we're just waiting for that moment where things slightly implode. But at the moment, they have been very respectful. Some moves have been done really well under green flag conditions. And you know what? I'm rather impressed here, Dean, by the entire field. We have had a couple of moments where people have... Now,
Anthony.
was that Crownover?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a bit of a moment there for him, as Phipps is going to go high, wide and handsome round the outside. Nose ahead for a minute, but Crownover has just lost the best part of nearly 3/10 of a second. Make that 4/10 of a second to Derio, who's pulled away again. We are just coming up to 8 laps until the next stage break at 80 laps out of 150 at the Nashville Superspeedway 200. And Biggott's getting a little bit feisty there, isn't he?
Yes, absolutely. And that's actually going to allow Cameron to kind of crawl away a little bit, the number 2 machine leading this race. And, well, stage breakers, well, coming from a theatre background, my friend, I call it an intermission more than a stage break, but the other way it works. It just basically means out there that Barney's going to pull the yellow flag out.
Yep, and we get a caution, and then we could see a possibility of drivers maybe coming into pit road, maybe put on a new... Well, the thing is that it depends on with the track temperature, which is still slightly north of 51 degrees Celsius at this moment. You're going to see that it depends on the drivers when they decide to get those tyres changed and give them the optimum performance in order to really get the opportunity to
Fresh boots.
to get themselves in the best place possible, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely correct on that one. Hope the audio levels are all good as we were just scrambling to get the production trailer trackside here in Tennessee for the Nashville 200. And these 3 brave souls are still going at it, tooth and nail. I have to be exchanging Christmas cards, my friend, racing like this. Shall see.
Well, yeah, Cam Derrio's got a second advantage now, heading on to lap number 76. So 4 to go, well, 5 to go including this one until we hit the next stage break here for the Nashville Superspeedway 200. He's got a lead of just over a second as the number 2. So Crownover, well, Derio started on the inside of row number 3. Riding back on board with Nathan Biggott in the 0-1, who is right with Andrew Phipps, our pole sitter, who started from the inside of the front row, now holding station in 3rd place. Gap between them is just over a 10.5 of a second. But I do fear that the Jaws theme music is starting to burn itself into both my eardrums here, Dean, because Dunkelberger is closing. The gap between him and Biggott was at one point about 2.5 seconds. It's now started to come down. And when we get the next stage break at lap 80, this means that Dunkelberger will have the opportunity to close up to the opposition. As now we see a move from Phipps. Dunkelberger and Day are line astern. Phipps looks up the inside. Past Crownover. Is he going to get the run through on the number 28? Yes, he does. Biggott in the 0-1 is also up the inside of the number 28, the driver from Hampton VA. Trying to get through. And still, Biggott is holding... Well, Biggott is trying to look towards the inside. He was halfway alongside the number 28. And Biggott still keeping it pinned to the outside. Is still fractionally in front, but then Biggott will be inside going through into the next left-hander as they cross the stripe. So we've got 2 to go until the next stage break, and Biggott gets the job done and now goes back up to 3rd place. Well done to the 0-1 there.
We're going to need a bigger boat. If you went to the Jaws reference, even though that's actually not fine from the movie, but that's what we remember. Oh, we're going to need a bigger pit lane. Don't make me stretch, my friend. These drivers are already stretching as much as they possibly can out of these beautiful motor vehicles. Just sheer horsepower, everything you can unload on your right pedal. Go for it. Barely any downshifts, just let it drift, let it slide. Let's actually have a look currently at the moment too, my friend. It's the dashboard, and there it is, 160 miles an hour, 4th gear. Gets up to about 170 or so, drops it down to just a little bit of a lift and coast, 120, 123 miles per hour. Back up on the gas pedal for a little bit.
Yep, we start building speed to probably just around about 170, 175 miles an hour. Especially going over the tri-oval, that's where you're really going to pick up speed. And there it is, the second stage break of the evening. And on lap 80 out of 150, we now have our second stage break. And this is going to start again, concertinaing the field. So Cam Derio looking to get his second win of the season. Doing a stellar job, I might say, even though there was that slight incident between him and Ryan Dunkelberger. And I know for a fact that someone like Dunkelberger, who did a great job on doing a number on Andrew Phipps in the early 2 to 3 laps of this race, has kept calm and has decided, you know what, it might have been the slightest of incidents, but if I want to beat Cam Derio, I want to do it on track. That's probably the motivation, the modus operandi that someone like Ryan Dunkelberger will have, won't he?
And he realizes he's still got 69 laps to go. And that's all you need. He's still in the next there. They're still on the same pit stop strategy. Of course, everybody's boxed on like 42 or 43, give or take. So, are they all going to jump in a pit road? I would imagine they will, and there it is on cue. And guess who stays out again? Is that
Jerry Culver.
Yes.
Jerry Culver. Good old Jerry does it again. Now, also, one of the other things there are, according to the league rules, now, as I said, we have been literally given a call to arms, myself and Dean. So, big thank you to the team at the Chop Chop League for allowing us here at JPB to broadcast the Nashville Superspeedway 200. Bonus points, there'll be one for leading the most laps, 1 point for led 1 or more laps, pole position, 1 point, and most positions gained will also get 1 point. My three sons saying Jerry Culver's probably getting his lap back. Well, he might be in the pit lane now as well, but it's all changed at the front end because Andrew Phipps, the pole sitter, is back out in front. He did a little bit of a number on Cam Derio and now leads the way as we are still under the it's the third caution. We did have an initial caution at lap 16 before we got our first stage break on lap 40. Now we've had some pretty clean racing so far. Any investigations, we might add, will be looked at post race. Now, if there is a caution, there is an incident, there is a claim window for any incidents that might be reported by an individual. But there we have the iRacing pace car back out once again. You know what? We're over half distance now, Dean. I'm really excited on what have been the strategy choices by the drivers when it comes to the 4 sets of tyres that they can have on their vehicles, including the set that they would have started this race with.
Well, I mean, those pit stop times are about 14 seconds stationary, 45 overall, so... And you saw a little bit of a difference there with some drivers like Andrew taking the advantage and getting out quicker before anybody else. I mean, quite sure that any of that strategy is at play. And once again, guilty at charge. I'm not an absolute experienced or no far an expert when it comes to next-gen NASCAR and a lot of oval racing. So that's probably more a question to you, Alex, with your experience, as well as anybody out in the chat that would like to give us any of that feedback. Love that.
Well, Jerry Culver has just exited pit lane. Chris Roberge, in the meantime, is the only driver that has done more than 3 pit stops. He's done 4 so far. Jerry Culver was in the pits for just over 75 seconds last time around. So we are still... Well, there's Barney the Flagman over the start-finish straight here at the Nashville Superspeedway. Just showing, yes, we are still under caution. Still got to wait until we let let them go.
Barney with the strongest right hand in all of motor racing, isn't it? Old monster. I don't know how he does it. Look at that. Just keeps their hand up. You know, holding your hand up for a long period of time, my friend. How tired your hand gets. Nah, not for Barney.
He's probably got bigger biceps than Arnold Schwarzenegger at this rate. Only that the iRacing flameproof...
What are you talking about?
Get to the chopper.
Right, so they are. There's the pace car. How do you can't drive the pace car? You can, can't you? In some of the iRacing.
I know I know in another simulator we on a broadcast that we did work at, one of the broadcast team decided to use the pace car, but on lap 85 out of 150, the Nashville Superspeedway 200, round 8 of the Chop Shop Gen 4 Season 1 gets back underway. We're green, 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 and a good start there by Andrew Phipps as he punches the throttle down hard, gets us down to, well, gets himself away, but not to the point where we would have seen a significant, I mean, like when people have got through turn 2, as we're seeing 2, 3 wide at points, Crownover and Dario swapping positions over second place. Dunkelberger's with them. Could he thread the eye of the needle? No, he decides to slot in behind Crownover. So Dario drops down into 4th position. Dunkelberger is on a charge. He's right up the exhaust pipes of Crownover, looking towards the outside of the number 28 for that 2nd position. And you can just see he's looking towards the inside. This is going to be very, very close between the pair. And he's got through. Dunkelberger was down towards the bottom part of the top 15 after lap number 36 after the incident between himself and Cam Dario. But he's got himself back to the sharp end of the field, goes underneath the yellow line ever so briefly. Oh, the tail has a little bit of a waggle on that number 26. But he still keeps it in front of Crownover, who remains in 3rd.
Didn't take him long, did it? Getting back on with it. That's why you never give up and you never surrender. Listen to Winston Churchill. Never, never. Even when he had that little moment earlier in the race, of course, after leading for some time. Got to get your head down. That's what I always say. You've got plenty of time to get it done, and he realises plenty of time because he is in P2 currently at the moment and is fight back. And just up the road is Andrew Phillips. So I'm sure he's going to be in his tail pipe very soon. So far, so good. Clean racing once again after another green. What rhymes with clean? Green.
There you go. Learn something new every day, folks. Michael Coulter Jr., unfortunately, is the 2nd retirement. A real shame for him. Out on lap number 62 was the number 3, and he is also one of our race winners. He took the win in the 2nd round at the Daytona 200 back on July 9th as Jason Day trying to make some moves up the order. That was on the 0-1. He's got through on Nathan Biggett, who's dropped down to 6th position. Biggett, when we came into the 2nd stage break on lap 80 out of 150, Biggett was actually getting close towards the top 3. He was actually fighting in the top 3 before we got that break. And you know what? Seems like Biggles is a poet and he doesn't know it. It's just popped up in the chat. There you go, Dean. I think Mr. Parfit is watching.
Happy birthday, boss man. Absolutely.
Yes, happy birthday,
he knows
Chief.
that reference that I use all the time. Hey, it's trademark. Thank you very much. Of course, going back to whenever it was 1600s, that probably came out. Well, let's not joke around if you did have a joker in your court, because we are on 92 of 150 with 59 to go. And, you know, Ryan Dinkelberger's trying to bring it in. It's down to a 2nd at the moment. And you know how hard it is to make that strip stream? It's like putting your hand out the window, isn't it, when you're in a moving car? How much force does that wind push back on your hand? That's what's happening to these motor vehicles down around the Nashville Superspeedway.
Especially if the car's going into a headwind, that's when you lose a few marks, you know, probably depending on your velocity of the car at the time, it can lose you a little bit of speed. But if it's pointing towards the front of your car, it's not going to help. But if it's pointing towards the rear spoiler on these Gen 4 cars, then it's going to give you a little bit of a tailwind assist. But then also, if you haven't got the help from somebody in front, like say the gap being 9/10 of a second between Phipps and Dunkelberger for the race lead, then you've got to be within, I would say, 4 to 5/10 of a second with the car in front to really start getting that slipstream, that momentum carry where you're not fully on the throttle all the time. And there we see just in front of Donnell Williams, The wonder from down under, rocking the Super Cheap Auto badge proudly. Mr. Michael Caffrey, who's trying to get one up on Mark Röttingen. That is the battle for 12th position, so the Aussie from Perth starting to close on those in front. And like you said, very, very well earlier on there, Dean, was the fact that you never give up, and Michael Caffrey is personification of that right now.
Well, you know who else is from Perth, Australia, that's a famous motor racer, right? I'm sure you would.
Oh, now you're
His
testing
name,
me.
Mr. Daniel Ricciardo in Formula One from Perth, Australia. So, it's another.
Funny enough, one of my mates actually emigrated over to Perth from the UK.
Well, we know that you guys are coming back to Australia now after you sent us away. Why not? It's beautiful.
Hey, now don't start that kind of talk right now. Let's concentrate on what's actually happening, because Michael Caffrey looking around the outside of Nathan Boga, and he's got through on him round the outside, so good work by Mr. Caffrey. And he's got Parry and Röttingen battling it in front, and look at he just literally, Michael just got an absolute launch. He must have got a little bit of a momentum carry as a result of that. Oh dearie me, that's Bogut off the circuit, I think.
Yep.
Bogut's off, and he's grass skimming right now.
Can you keep it?
Lucky boy.
Yeah. Some skilled drivers, my friend, I tell you what, and the minimal amount of accidents that we've actually seen, touch wood, let's not give any casting curses here at the moment. Don't talk to Zachary about that, right? Your son? Or my son?
We're not going to talk about Mr. Sweet here. He might believe. Oh, Michael, just keep it nice and clean. He's gonna get 11th though, very, very shortly, I would think, as long as Mr. Williams behind him doesn't have anything to do with it. But you can just see how close they're, nearly rubbing panel to panel, going down this part of the
exchanging Instagram accounts here at the moment, holding the phone out. What's your Twitter account?
Yeah. What's your IG handle?
Yeah.
But no, great racing, and Michael doing the stand-up ripper job. Getting now up into 11th. 10th isn't that far away for him, but Williams isn't too far. Daniel Williams, Devin DeCuna in this battle along with them. But yeah, Michael Caffrey just out half a second off of Ed Parry in the number 33.
The inside apron, and he's got a couple of push-to-passes to use, even though they don't have any available, but he's the green machine on a rampage. And he's actually, believe it or not, back in the same position he started, P11. So, no gains, no losses. The glass is half full and half empty for Mr. Michael right now. He would like it to be a bit more full. The person who does like his glass full is this man, still maintaining that 1 second gap on Ryan, who's slowly been chipping away at it, but not at the speed he's been doing on his recovery drive.
Yeah, just to me, it sounds that maybe Ryan Dunkelberg is just waiting for that opportunity, maybe to do an undercut on a trip down the pit road and hitting the stall properly, getting the tyres on, maybe slightly under fueling, and those couple of seconds or whatever might make all the difference, especially with, we know how pit stops can be a little bit laborious, especially we talked about this earlier, Dean. We talked about tyres, we talked about fuel. This is a flat-out sprint. We're now 48 away from the checkered, and Daniel Williams has a little bit of a twitch, and that has dropped him behind Devin DeCuna, and that is now 14th place for the number 15, who started, funny enough, he started 13th, he's now running 14th, and very good point that our good friend, the birthday boss, saying that running the low line short is the shortest route, but yes, you get worse tyre wear because the camber is even more pronounced towards the shoulder of the tyres, especially on the left side, both front and rear, and there's so much more force on those left side tyres, so that's where the impact really does happen, and that's why we've seen the cars go a little bit like they're skating on ice on the rear axle.
So here we go, starting another lap, 104, 47 to go here. And we do have Donnell Williams has gone out into pit road the third time, I believe.
Yeah. And he's been in there for just over 20 seconds, so maybe he might be, either doing some repairs. As we said earlier, no fast repairs are allowed, are not permitted. As Phipps has now expanded his lead to nearly 1.4 seconds. Crown over now looking up the inside of Dunkelberger. Dario is in the ringside seat as the 28 looks up the inside of the 26. They are literally wheel to wheel. And Dario's just waiting for his opportunity to strike. Crown over looking towards the inside into the next left-hander. The next turn. Gets marginally in front of Dunkelberger, and now is a full car length in front as they come towards the crest of the tri-oval. So another lap is going to be in the books right now. Lap 106, so 44 to go, including this one, and still the battle for second position. Whilst they're fighting, this is allowing Andrew Phipps the most golden of opportunities to pull away into the distance, because 1.7 seconds in front of your next competitor feels like an eternity.
Oh, especially on a super speedway, mate. Absolutely. He's maintaining great control and great composure and not really threatened by this, and in fact loving the fact that there is a squabbling going on behind him. Because in any motorsports, as you are well aware of, we'll go back to Ed Perry, as he's taken it to the Aussie man of Michael. Caffey are on the outside as Michael's going on the inside apron. Should get better exit speed here. Keep an eye out there for Mark on the inside. Going to look to take the apron and take both of them. A 2-for-1 special here in Nashville. It's your barbecues, mate. The 76 machine.
Yeah, would have been a bog off of a buy one get one free on that one. But a little bit further behind, Dunkelberger is now 0.4 of a second behind Dario, who's rounding at the top three. There's Bigger battling away with Day. Strickland Striker not too far behind them either in the number 88 machine. Chris Roberge has been the silent assassin of this field so far. He is currently running, folks, 8th place at the moment in the number 98. Started 19th. And has calmly made his way up the order. He's got a bit of a battle on his hands because Caleb Mozelski is right with him in the number 53. So these two are within 0.2 of a second of each other. Caleb Mozelski turns the car in. It looks a little bit more looser on the right hand side.
Go back to the lead of the race here, because look at this: Andrew Phillips and Cameron.
Oh well, that's Cameron Dario, and that is Anthony Crownover. So that is a change for second. But still, with 40 to go, just over 40 to go, Andrew Phipps, I think now has got every single opportunity. Like I said just a minute ago, you and I both made we've both spoken about this. That once you get a gap of at least a second and a half, and you're running round an oval like this, where speeds are approaching close to 180 miles an hour in top gear. If one driver gets a big old opportunity, as we see Jason Day get through, and that was actually, he's closing in on Michael Strickland Striker, who qualified 6th and is still in 6th position as things stand. Jason Day qualified on the outside of row number 2 on 4th place, and has been running a little bit further towards that. Zelski closing in on Chris Roberge. So the two Canadians running in the top 8. Anthony Crownover now losing time to Cam Dario.
I'm wondering what happened with Ryan here. He's lost a couple of places here, so let's have a look. It's a 28 machine. Now he loses these 2 positions here. He loses one to Anthony, because remember he was running in P2.
Yeah.
And then he loses it to Cameron in the number 2 car. So has he gone a little twirly-whirly on the inside here? Must have scrubbed so much speed.
Oh, he was sideways through the corner. That lost him traction and speed. So Anthony Crownover got through on him. Cam Dario thought, well, I'm going to go towards the inside. Gets the better run of traction. So, yeah, I think that there's been probably a couple of unforced errors, because we know that when tyres get hot, the next thing that tends to happen is that the rubber compound sort of starts falling away and jumping off the cliff like a lemming, especially when you're getting to the end of that tyre cycle as well. I mean, looking at the lap times, Dunkelberger did a 32.1, Crownover 32.05, Derio a 31.9. Andrew Phipps's lead was nearly close to 2 seconds. Just spotted the lap times between Derio and Phipps, and Derio's just taken about 6/10 over the last couple of laps out of him.
Did you
So
just say
the race victory?
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so Derio last time did a 31.922. He's just taken another couple of tenths out of Phipps, so Derio's really got some pace in that number 2 car. So Derio might be using a tactic whereby if he's able to run a little bit lower on the circuit when it's going through the turns, that might be where the car's really finding its sweet spot. Mark Rutgen now enters pit lane on lap 114 out of 150. Dunkelberger's now pitting. So we're now going to probably see what might be the last set of pit stops. And now they're going to start cycling through, because as we did say that drivers do have 4 sets of tyres, which includes the set that they start on. So Dunkelberger in, Rutgen out after 15 seconds. Dunkelberger's been in the pits for, well, the time has just started, so Dunkelberger's going to go towards the bottom end of the field. Brandon Bledsoe also out after lap 93 out of 150. So we are down to 17 runners and riders. The top 7 covered by 8.3. Chris Roberge doing a solid job in another 98, and there he is. Closing in on Chad Modzelski, and this is actually a battle for on-track position, but may not necessarily be the positions that will be in once they go down pit road and cycle through. So we are getting towards the sort of like the real business end of this race, with coming up to 32 to go out of the Nashville Superspeedway 200. And you know what, Dean? I've got absolutely no idea on who to call as to who is going to win this race. I think it can be anybody that is in the sharp end of the field, possibly top 5, maybe top 8.
Oh, don't too right off, Mr. Andrew Phillips at the moment leading this one, but as you said, pit stops are going to come into play very soon. 32 to go, 119 of 150. I just wanted to go back as Caleb goes in to pit road. So yes, exactly, some of those drivers, and they're going to see how they're going to pan out too. That looks like it's crabbing, but maybe that's just the way it appears to us, because I don't see any damage, any contact with the wall or anything. But going back to that one little reference I wanted to mention, because you mentioned lemmings, and I was like, I don't think anybody under the age of 40 would understand that reference, my friend, but I got it.
I'm glad somebody did. We like to inject our own type of humour here at JPB. You'll all get used to it, hopefully. But we hope you've all enjoyed the broadcast that myself and Dean have been providing so far at very, very short notice, and a big thank you to the Chop Shop League for allowing us to do so, as now the number 25 of Phipps decides to jump down pit road, which now releases Cam Derio into the race lead. And we've got more coming in. Jason Day, the number 52, the Canadian from British Columbia, now enters pit lane. Devin DeCuna is coming towards the end of his pit stop, has just lit up the rear tyres on the pit stall with 14.78 seconds completed. And still we're waiting for the likes of Derio Crownover. Strickland Striker is in third. Roberge Caffery, the one from down under, is currently P5 ahead of Ed Parry. Crownover is now in pit lane for what will more than likely be his final pit stop of the Nashville Superspeedway 200 here on, and there is our race leader. So this is the first set of pit stops we've actually had full rotation here, Dean, where it's actually happened under green flag racing conditions.
As well as this racing, it's continuing with these drivers that, well, they have to go on the pit road as well too. Nathan Bogert and Jonathan Parsons. It's probably just another one, so they're battling each other into the pit road. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, they both last pitted on lap number 82.
So Ryan essentially here is the first net driver with the enough to go to the end. And he's got a bit of traffic up the road too to get past and disperse with pretty quickly there of the 88 machine. So Ryan can get on with it and put the fastest laps of his life in to try to gain some of those positions. And these two are still going at it tooth and nail. It's going to be the key, isn't it, now, just Alex, like, to put those banker laps in, those qualifying laps over and over again while you've taken the undercut, and then see how it all pans out when everybody else takes their pit stops.
Yeah, completely agree with you there, Dean. It just really goes to show that sometimes if you are embroiled in a battle like this, what's happening? You are not making up time. Cam Derrier now in the pits, so Michael Strickland Striker becomes the, at the moment, the de facto race leader. Chris Treberge and Michael Caffrey up to second and third. There's Ryan Dunkelberger, who is currently running P8. So Cam Derrier's pit stop is happening as we speak.
There it is. Good angle, but
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
here comes Ryan.
Yep, so Ryan's going to overtake him. There we go. Derrier drops to 8th position. Well, Parsons now in pit road. The number 4 car. And Jerry Culver has jumped into pit lane as well. So Jonathan Parsons has the golden arches on the hood, and on the rear fenders has got drive-through. Jerry Culver comes in for his 4th pit stop of the evening. There is Chris Roberge from Courtenay, British Columbia. So
you just like the fact that it has British here, isn't it?
Well, no, the thing is I've actually got family in BC.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Vancouver, to be precise. So great to see the British Columbians representing Team Canada. And Chris Roberge has done a sterling job. He's been the highest mover, 24 to go until the checkered here at the Nashville Superspeedway 200. And what's more, there is Ed Parry in the pits, the number 33.
So Ryan's up into P4 and net, in net of the pit stops, boxing on lap 115, 23 to go. Here's Michael. He has to come in. So my Aussie man, old Mickey. And then, of course, Chris, you mentioned 2 Canadians in this race, at least driving under the Canadian flag that we're having flag telemetry. That's Mr. Chris Roberge and Jason Day, who's down in P9 for the Five Kings Motorsports team. This man for the Team Canada. Michael Strickland Striker for the Chop Shop Racing team is leading, but he will have to, no doubt, go on a pit road unless they've found some sort of way to save fuel. And like a Ferraris probably did back in the day, didn't they? In Formula 1 for a little bit. We'll have to test those fuels samples later on after the race, guys.
Yeah, also interesting development. Cam Derrier is now the driver with the fastest lap. And on his last lap was a 30.4 dead. Wow. Around this 1 1/3 mile circuit. And there he is, threading the eye of the needle.
And just to let everybody know about that one, Michael's the guys at the front, right? The race leaders, they're doing 32s, okay? He's just shaved almost 2 seconds a lap around the Super Speedway. That's a lot.
Yep, Joseph G saying, got to root for Biggett in that Ford. Well, can Nathan Biggett take 3 wins, or could, with the way things are going, the way that the strategy is unfolding with 20 to go now until the checkered, could we see some magic being made here at the Nashville Superspeedway? Because as I said earlier on, we have had 6 different winners from 7 different races. So Nathan Biggett could be going for the three race wins. Could we see an apple cart upset? Could Ryan Dunkelberger, who has not taken a win this season but has taken a pole position at the Darlington 200 back two weeks ago, and Dunkelberger now is in 4th position. At the minute, Roberge, Caffrey and Strickland Striker last pitted on lap 82. They are getting close to running for 40 laps since their last pit stop, and Michael Caffrey, when he takes his next trip down pit road, will be his 6th time. Most out of anybody tonight, with 19 to go. Make that 18 to go. Roberge is in the pits. Now, Caffrey and Strickland Striker look to be pulling out all the stops here, Dean. Could they be going for the last chance saloon here? Because with Dunkelberger on 18.7, we'll make 18.7 from the race leader. That's not going to be enough for Strickland and Caffrey to be at the sharp end of the grid. This will put Dunkelberger into the prime position to become our 7th different winner in 8 races.
Unless they've stretched a fuel lap. Remember, 5 pit stops there for Michael, but I mean, he boxed on lap 82. So did Mr. Striker, so yeah, no way. I don't think it's going to happen. But Biggott's bringing it right now, so this could be essentially what you're watching right now be a preview of who is going to be number 1, who's going to be number 2 on the podium here for the Nashville. That's obviously barring the fact that we do believe that both of the Michaels, and it's the Michael brother battle up the road, not brothers, but the Michaels, have to come into pit road again.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the lap times they're showing at the moment. You know, 31.4s from Ryan and Nathan, and the 2 Michaels, 32.5 for the number 88 and the number 77 and 32.3. So they are lapping about the best part of 6 to 7 tenths of a lap, second a lap slower than these 2 guys that we see here. And still the laps count down, 15 to go. This is really coming down to the wire. I can't sort of hazard a guess on who's going to win this one, but if Strickland and Caffrey have to pit very shortly here, Dean, it's going to be the race between Dunkelberger and Biggott for the W.
Stop sitting on the fence there, Alex. Leading to one side. You're going to make a call. James says it to me all the time. So no, Biggles, you got to make a call here. And in the chat, let us know what you want to make a call there. If you step out of the shadows and into the spotlight. And
I'm hoping that Dunkelberger actually gets it, because then it's a different winner. But if Nathan Biggott pips him at the post, then they're both equally as deserving. But my hopes are for a new different winner. But I think Biggott's going to try everything in his book to make sure that does not happen. He wants 3 wins this season, and that will really help him in the push for the title. And
there's Jerry getting in the mix there. Jerry has been in the wars a few times. And there he is. Oops. Apologies about that one. Yeah, there's Jerry.
Oh.
So
wonder from
Michael's gone in.
Yep. The wonder from down under coming in for his. That's a good old run though.
Yeah.
A very good old run. That was what, 45 laps. That's a long old stint.
He take care of his gasoline, my friend. Remember, you've been at the pit stops 6 times now, so
yeah,
they're probably allowed him to stretch out a little bit. Here's Ryan. The number 14 machine is a lapped car, as well as the unlapping itself car. Just trying to see that one. 90...
That's the number 80. That's the number 80 of Jerry Culver, I think.
No, that's 98.
98. That's Chris Roberge, the Canadian.
So, but Andrew's joined this party now all of a sudden. So, this is a 3-way battle for Ryan Dunkelberger, Nathan Biggard, and Andrew Phillips there. And then Michael's gone in from the race lead, so we kind of expected he couldn't stretch it to the end. This is it now. Essentially, what you're looking at on your screens, live of 12 to go, is a battle for the win of the race.
Yeah, well, Strickland has now finally pitted, and Dunkelberger now becomes the race leader. Phipps and Biggott side by side through into turns 1 and 2. Oh, this is going to be very, very close indeed. Top 3 covered by 0.3 of a second. Next time around, it'll be 10 to go. 9 to go until the white flag here at the Nashville Superspeedway 200 for race 8 out of 22 for the Chop Shop NASCAR Gen 4 League season number 1, broadcasted here on the JP Broadcasting Network. Thank you so much for everyone that has been involved in the chat and been watching along, and thank you very much for your likes as well. It's very, very much appreciated. Bigot still trying to keep it within striking distance of putting a move up the inside, or maybe around the outside of Andrew Phipps. The gap between the top 3 at this moment, Dean, still with 10 to go on the lap counter. Make that 9 to go very, very shortly until we hit the checkers.
Monte Carlo on the front bumper there. That's how close it is that you can read a Michael Phillips's car. Or Phillips. Sorry, Mikey, if I'm getting that one all wrong. That's a switcheroo between the top 2 that started P1 and P2. Currently at the moment running P1 and P2, but in an opposite order. Now, how they want to change that one around. Look at this. It's definitely spicing up, and it's super, super heated. 9 to go here at the Nashville Superspeedway 200. Who wants it? Those other cars that are in the background, my friend Alex, are not a part of this party, but they just want to decide to join it anyway.
Yeah, including our Aussie mate, Mr. Caffrey. Mikey doing a very, very good job there, but he's getting a little bit in the way, I think, of Nate. Well, Bigot's just lost a big old turn of speed, and there's also Strickland Striker. 8 to go, folks. Who's your money on? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. We want to hear from you right here, right now, as Phipps is leading. He put it on pole position. Could he be the one that becomes a 2-time race winner again this season, along with Nathan Bigot, who is still closing in on Ryan Dunkelberger, who's looking to break the duck, looking to make sure that he gets his first race win of the season, but time and laps are fast running out here at the Nashville Superspeedway for what has been an enthralling and exciting strategy call in terms of a game of chess when it comes to NASCARs. But Bigot now is gunning for it. He's got through on Dunkelberger. He's now a full car length ahead. He's got through on the number 26. Ryan Dunkelberger's now got Cam Derio up the inside. Cam Derio is another one that could be in the mix for picking up 2 wins this season. But the cross-back attempt happens. Dunkelberger looking towards the inside of Derio. They have come to blows a little bit earlier on in the race. And as Derio goes wide, Dunkelberger up the inside. And he gets the turnaround again!
Oh, no!
Lightning has struck twice, and we've got a final caution of the race with 6 to go. Could you have called that? Hell no.
No. All the bad luck has fallen onto Mr. Ryan's shoulders, hasn't it? After that great fight back, there's the second amount of contact and second actual yellow that we've had, the second caution, by actual contact with drivers. And Ryan, unfortunately, has been in both of those. Let's get back and have a look at the replay of how this has panned out. We'll probably have to slow this one down because the action happens very, very quickly. Look at that. That could also be what you call a little bit of net code there, isn't it? Because
yeah, that is known to happen in iRacing circles, but that is a real shame for Ryan Dunkelberger there. Twice turned around by the same driver, and as you said, it could have been net code. We're actually going to see it on board from Ryan Dunkelberger. He gets through, and there's the touch. Back end lifts up again. And Dunkelberger is once more spinning around on the banking, and it was very, very lucky that the number 26 did not get collected, and he has dropped all the way down to 5th position. But the field is bunching up behind the pace car. They are letting lap traffic go around. We've got 4 to go, including this lap, and well, I don't think I sometimes sitting on the fence does actually, as a commentator, do you the world of good, Dean. I must completely admit, but I didn't want to sort of chance it and call it completely wrong. I was hoping that Ryan Dunkelberger would get the perfect opportunity, but they do say sometimes that lightning strikes twice, and with him and Cam Derio, I'm sure there'll be a not a heated discussion, but a discussion about what happened. Because we all know that in sim racing you do have netcode, you do sometimes have ping issues as well, which can cause these things to happen. I've spoken with one of my friends who is a rookie sim racer, and he goes, "Yeah, where I am, my internet's rubbish, and I do sometimes get a little bit of netcode coming into play." And I said,
Yeah.
So I then said to him, "Have you got your black book of excuses ready to go?"
Ooh.
And he went, "How do you mean?" And I said, "If you keep on saying the word netcode, you might have to just put a little like line in there. You know when you sort of like count things. You do like the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then strike through for item number 5. That's probably how many times that he might be doing that. But
he might turn around and go, "Yeah, I'm racing on my Wi-Fi connection, and every single time that my one of my siblings or parents or whatever operate the microwave, all of a sudden my car starts becoming netcode." It's like that.
Yeah.
Anyway. But but actually, Zachary, you have to go back. Zachary explained it really well. I was so surprised when I was casting with Zach Sweeney the other day, and I didn't even know what is actually involved in netcode and how the iRacing simulates the contact between the cars and stuff like that. So that's something very, very interesting. If you want to find that out, of course, tune into the JP Broadcasting Network. And anytime that Zach Sweeney is, well, unless you know this too, Alex, but is commentating, hit him up in the chat and say, "Can you explain this netcode situation again?" Because I still have to get my head around it. Maybe you can explain it, Alex, if we have time, of course, with 3 to go on our final caution, I would imagine, with Andrew Phillips.
Yep.
Phillips leading this. Is it Phillips or Phillips?
Phipps. Andrew
sorry.
Phipps.
Sorry, Andrew.
That's all right.
Yeah, do you know about that whole netcode, that how they calculate that when they guesstimate essentially at certain things?
Well, it's effectively that with regards to netcode, it's what will happen. It's the way a simulation like predicts of where the cars are in terms of location on the circuit within the race you're in, and it's not necessarily perfect, but it depends on the connection quality of the person who's connected to the server, and also the ping. So it can be down to connection and ping, where like you see on a lot of races, say on Assetto Corsa Competizione, if you're on a league and you see the little line bouncing up and down by the driver number, that's the ping. And you can have, like, say, for instance, Philippa Bakida from BS Competition, who's based in Oz. Whenever she does an SRO esports event, her ping is incredibly high. And so it's like if you've got a low and a stable ping, and the other drivers on the same server have the same or similar sort of ping. But I'll get onto the rest of my explanation very, very soon, because with 3 to go, make that very shortly 2 to go, because we're going to have a sprint to the finish, just 2.5 miles to go as Phipps puts down the hammer, got the lightning start he needed. Crownover gets the pass on Biggett for 2nd position. Now it's the run to the checkered flag here for race 8 out of 22 for the Chop Shop NASCAR Gen 4 League Season 1 here at Nashville Superspeedway. Biggett looking towards the inside of Crownover, as the gap between 1st and 2nd is about 5.5 tenths. Biggett goes down to the bottom of the circuit. Michael Caffrey up into 8th position. Crownover is still keeping it side by side with Biggett, so now retakes 2nd position, as now the white flag is out. Oh, Dunkelberger and Strickland Striker go out of the race at the final throw, as it is the run to the checkered flag. Now that Andrew Phipps is going to make it all count. He's literally not that far away from becoming a 2nd race win, 2-time race winner. Andrew Phipps takes it here at Nashville after 150 laps. That's 200 miles of this 1 1/3 mile circuit by 0.8 of a second. He won back 2 weeks ago at Darlington at race 6. And now at race 8, he joins Nathan Biggett as a 2-time winner this season. Biggett takes the runners-up spot ahead of Anthony Crownover. Caleb Modzelski takes 4th position ahead of Ed Parry. Chris Roberge, the biggest mover of the night, as Andrew Phipps puts it on the grass just off of the bottom part of the tri-oval, and now lights up the rear tyres, so maybe we should see a few donuts. He's a obliging with a little bit of a burnout is Andrew Phipps, and he's got every single reason to celebrate. Well done to him. Ed Parry rounds out the top 5. Chris Roberge started in 18th position, 19th position, finished in 6th place as Phipps, Mr. Phipps is really, really very much celebrating here at Nashville Superspeedway.
Come on, sign your autograph, mate. P-H-I. You do it. In a burnout.
Double P-S. There
Exactly.
we go.
Job.
Michael Caffrey made it across the line in 7th. And Mark Rutgen managed to get through into 8th position from 18th. Jason Day in 9th. Cam Derrio with the fastest lap of the race. He'll pick up a point for that. He finished in 10th, ahead of Jonathan Parsons. Michael Strickland Striker and Ryan Dunkelberger rounding out the top 13. Nathan Bogart, Devin DeCuna, Jerry Culver, Donnell Williams, Brandon Bledsoe, Michael Coulter Jr. and Isaac Balsamo round out the 20-strong field. But Andrew Phipps takes a second win this season, and next time out it's going to be Pocono Raceway for the Pocono 200 on August 27th. I think, Dean, do we have time for maybe some interviews with our top 3?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a yarn to these drivers. Of course, we're broadcasting for the first time on
Brilliant.
JP Broadcast Network, and we like to have a yarn to the drivers.
Indeed. Well, let's see if we can first of all bring in our race winner, the number 25 of Andrew Phipps, who put it on pole and took the race victory. So, I don't know if I can... I don't know if you might be able to drag him up. I'm not 100%
powers
sure.
that be to get Mr. Andrew in here. Andrew, welcome along. I've just grabbed you by the scruff of your race suit and got you in here. GG's, my friend. You have won.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Well, first of all, Andrew, you join Nathan as a 2-time winner of the series, following on from your race win 2 weeks ago back at Darlington.
It should be 3 in a row, but the fuel mileage thing just got me the last race. I wasn't smart enough to save fuel. I should have done it, but I knew better. But I got beat by it. But Brownover was really smart, and he deserved that win.
Also, the stat for this season is you're the second driver since Cam Derrio back at Atlanta at the Atlanta 200 on July 23rd to take pole position and then get the W. You must be... It was a game of two halves. It was very much a big old chess game at Nashville, wasn't it, tonight?
Yeah, it's a really difficult track. I definitely wouldn't say it's one of my favorites. When we took off at the beginning, I thought Ryan was just going to drive away, and felt like I was doing pretty good. And then I just absolutely died at the end of the first stage. I don't know what happened. Everybody just trained by me, and it was all I could do, and I think I ended up 5th or something. But I drove the car a little bit different. I kind of learned from them when they got by me. I saw what they were doing, and ran the car a little different in the second stage and went forward. So the car was definitely better at the end of the second stage. And then I was lucky enough to get the lead out of the pits. I don't know what happened. Whoever was ahead of me must have had a bad stop because I went from second to the lead. And I figured that was my chance to just run like crazy, go as hard as I could, and just get away from them, knowing that it was going to be a little bit shorter run because we were going to have to split it up because nobody had enough fuel to make it. So I was hoping there'd be a yellow because it makes me really nervous to come in as the leader and put tires on and go a lap down. And if yellow comes out, everybody gets to pit under caution, put new tires on, and you know what I mean. And so I was hoping for a caution until I pitted, and then I was praying there wouldn't be one. But man, the end of that was really exciting. I was nervous. I feel really bad for Ryan. He got wrecked 3 times in one race. It was unfortunate for him, but I don't know what that's all about. I'd probably be madder than a wet hen if it happened to me, but I don't know. He and I both came in the league at the same time, and I think Anthony Crownover as well. We'd all raced in a previous league together, so we're having fun over here. Just can't be running into each other. This is supposed to be fun.
Yeah, I think myself and Dean, we were talking about maybe a bit of netcode might have been involved. I mean, it sometimes can happen. and especially with the speeds that you guys were pulling, close to at some points nearly 180 miles an hour in at top speed. These things can happen where we all know that the slightest touch on the back end of a Gen 4 car can turn you around because the rear end's quite light, whereas
These
the
things
engines.
are definitely a handful. I know I had one situation where Cam was leading and Crownover was second, and I was fighting trying to get by Crownover, and I saw them both having to check up, and I had to do everything I could to keep from running them over. And Nathan was back behind me, and I mean, we had a pretty good gap on him, probably 1.2 seconds, and before we got to the next corner, he was on me. So yeah, I mean, you got to be on your toes. These things are not easy to drive, but you still got to be paying attention, and you got to drive with respect. And I don't want to run over somebody, but at the same time, I don't want to get run over. I feel like if you prove to the guys you race with them every week that you race them clean, you expect they'll do the same to you.
Well, Andrew, congratulations on the win tonight here at Nashville, and good luck at
Thank you.
Pocono next
I
week for the
appreciate
Pocono
it.
200.
And thank you so much for broadcast. Can't wait to go watch it. It should be a blast. I appreciate it, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you very much to our race winner tonight here at the Nashville Superspeedway 200, Mr. Andrew Phipps. Andrew, we'll let you get off now. Thank you very much for joining myself and Dean in the commentary box.
Awesome. Talk to you guys later. Thank you.
Right, okay. Well, as I've just had a chat with our race winner, Dean, why don't you have a chat with our runner-up, who was very, very close to picking up 3 wins, Mr. Nathan Biggett.
We'll get Nathan in here, my friend Alex, but you get the fantastic call to speak to these gladiators, Alex. So Nathan, welcome along, my friend. Good battle towards the end there. Gained 1 position, but not the absolute top step, but still P2.
Yeah, I'm happy with P2. That Andrew, he's good in these cars, man. He's going to be tough to beat now that he's in this league. I think we had him in the first stage. I think he definitely struggled, but he learned really quick. He watched what we did and started doing that in the rest of the race. And after that, he was going to be hard to beat. But yeah, great finish between me and Crownover. That was an awesome green-white checkered.
Yeah, I mean, you were so close. 3, that could have been 3 this season, Nate. You say that you're happy with second. I mean, this is myself and Dean. We've had an absolutely fun time calling this race here tonight. But you know what? There's got to be that point where you think, okay, I've had a second. It was a really good race. It was a difficult race, which, when we spoke with Mr. Phipps about it, it wasn't easy because, especially when you go down towards the bottom of the track, especially towards the yellow lines, the tyre wear is quite significant here at Nashville, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the tire wear is basically what I was saying about what Andrew learned from us in the beginning in the first stage, because he was fast, but if you don't pace yourself on those long runs, you're gonna end up losing in the end of it because the tire wear is just so massive and the fall off is so great. You can't go wide open in these cars. They got so much horsepower, and you'll just burn the tires off, and then everyone will come right back to you and go right blowing by you. But no, I say that, like, I'm happy with second in the sense of, to me, I'm pretty good at the sim racing. I'm finding speed, and I'm doing well in the leagues and in the officials. But I'm still a rookie. Like, I'm only 9 months into sim racing. So some of these guys got 10 plus years doing this sim, and for me, second place being a rookie, that's awesome.
Well, Nate, well done tonight. Good luck at Pocono Raceway next week for race 9 out of 22. And let's see if you can pick up maybe a 3rd win before the halfway point of this Gen 4 Season 1. But well done tonight. Great racing.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. I wanted to shout out and thank you guys for doing a broadcast. Thank Chop Shop League for letting me race with these guys. It's a great racing with them. Appreciate everything they do. All the sponsors, my 3 sons, all the fans watching. Hi, Sherry. And give a shout out to my mom. You all have a good one. See you next week.
Yeah, big thank you there to Nathan Biggett. And yeah, we'll let you go. So thanks again for jumping in the commentary box for a quick chat. And good luck for the rest of the season, Nate. I'm sure you won't need it, but you've done a hell of a job so far.
Yeah, thank you.
So big thank you there to Nate. And last but by no means least, we're going to speak to the final driver in our top three. Another driver that has been at the sharp end of the field all the way through this race, Anthony Crownover. Anthony, good to have you with us. Man, that was so close at the end. It was just nip and tuck, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was close. Good times, good fun. Took a third, but worked harder in third. But we're just looking for wins the rest of this year since we got a win already.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, that happened last time out at race 7 at Michigan for the 200. But, you know, it wasn't an easy track to qualify around. I mean, you started from the inside of row 4 in position number 7, but steadily made your way through. It was a game of cat and mouse. It was a bit like Tom and Jerry if it was a cartoon here tonight, because you didn't know which way the pendulum was going to swing. And but from your perspective, just talk us how you approach this race, because it was very difficult at times, especially with having the stage breaks at lap 40, lap 80. We did have a couple of cautions, one within the first 20 laps and one about 6 from the end. What was your main approach to tonight?
I guess the main approach was learning the track, especially with this car. I've never raced here before with this car, and only raced here a few times before with any car. So I was trying to learn as much as possible at the beginning, and wished I would have saved the tires a little bit better on that last set to have something for them on that green white checkered. But basically just learning the track, learning the line, and trying to watch what they do.
It's always good when you can pick up from other people that you're racing with as well. You can see the differing lines that they're taking, whether they're deciding to go a bit high and wide, if the car in front of you is looking a little bit loose on the back end. But what are your thoughts ahead going to Pocono Raceway next week for the 200?
Pocono is one of my kind of middle of the pack tracks. Don't expect to be too fast there, but you never know with this car. I might put in some practice this week for the first time ever and see if I can keep up with these guys.
Well, Anthony, thanks for jumping into the commentary box for a brief interview. We're going to let you go now, but is there anyone that you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Just shout out to the shop for putting this thing on, and you guys for the broadcast. Wish I could have seen it last week, but looking forward to watching this one back.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Anthony. Good luck at Pocono Raceway next week, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, that concludes the interviews here at the Chop Shop Nashville Superspeedway 200. Dean Biggles, buddy, it's been an absolute pleasure. Your final thoughts before we close things out for tonight.
Let's go racing. Love it. Brilliant. I'm chop shopping. This is fun, mate. Thank you very much. Everybody stay safe. And let's keep racing. Let's keep driving. Thank you very much for tuning in for the JP Broadcasting Network, presented by my Mr. Alex himself, Goldschmidt. Sorry, I'm going to murder your
That's all
name.
right, don't worry.
And the Dean Biggles. And that's it from us. So give us a thumbs up and a like and subscribe if you did enjoy this. If not, you don't have to. But thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Cheers.